Welcome back, everybody. Today we are going to be doing a tree saddle review and kind of just an overview of some of the gear I'm using for public land hunting, private land hunting, all the stuff I am using this year as far as my tree saddle goes. So I actually am going with the XOP Renegade saddle. Now this is actually a budget saddle in my opinion. It is very cheap, very affordable, but I have actually done a lot of modifications to this. And just so you know, if you modify this, all the warranties and stuff go out the window. But I really think that just as a base model saddle with some modifications, you can make this thing really good. Just to start off, for one, I did leave this back part of the saddle on here, which allows you just to run it like a regular tree stand harness, and so I left that on there. I cut off the other leg loops for running it that way. I just use the saddle leg loops for that. How I attach the bridge is I just run it through the left side of your saddle like that. I attach the prusik knot to the other loop on the other side, and then I can just run that like that. Works pretty good for me. Haven't had any problems. I then just did some modifications with like shortening some straps that are flying around. I'm a pretty small person, I'm about 5'6", so I have a lot of stuff just flying around everywhere, so I had to adjust that. And one other thing I did upgrade on this is I got rid of the carabiner that it came with on my tree tether. I went with this black diamond carabiner. It has the same like screw locking part on there, but I just think this one is a lot better. It's made out of aluminum, it's a lot lighter, same strength pretty much. It's rated for climbing and all that. This made me be able to cut a lot of weight and overall just better functionality. On my lineman's belt, I still do run the steel carabiner. I just haven't got around to upgrading that quite yet. Alright, so the platform I'm running is the XOP platform, their saddle platform. I actually really like this one. It is very large for a saddle platform. I really like that though. I would rather pack in a little more weight and be super comfortable than cut weight and just deal with a lot of pains. It has this adjustable screw here, which can allow for the pitch of the saddle on the tree in case you're in a pretty odd tree. It has this here, which I run some paracord on to haul my bow up. On here I'm running the standard cam buckle strap with it. Haven't had any problems. This thing sits in the tree super well. I have never had any problems with it moving. I get it up there, I tighten it, cam it over, and it never moves. Another little upgrade I did to this was I wrapped paracord in certain parts on this just to quiet it down sometimes. I noticed that in these places I was clinking a lot of stuff against, so I just wrapped some paracord around there, and it just quieted it down a little bit. Moving on to the stick I'm using, I am using the XOP Ultra stick, not the double one, just the single folding one like this. I'm running the tethered Versus strap on here. I tried for a while running the cam buckle strap, but it was way too loud. I switched to these tether Versus straps, which these have really, for one, they lightened up my saddle hunting system by a bit, quite a bit actually, and they just made it a lot quieter. That was one thing that I really didn't like about the cam buckle strap, and especially when you're like putting 3-4 sticks up in a tree, 4 of those cam buckle straps rattling around wasn't working for me, so I switched to the tethered Versus strap. This right here, super light stick. Haven't had any problems with it. I really like them and would not change anything about this stick. It's just a great around, good budget stick too. All of this gear is actually pretty budget friendly. I think I ended up getting it all for around, I don't know, $4.50, something like that. Really good prices. You can find them on sale sometimes. I believe these sticks run $149 for 4, which that is not bad at all. You're looking at a very quality stick for that price. Now just a little bit here on how I set up this platform in a tree. I'm just going to be doing this at ground level. So basically all I do, undo these straps. I have them wrapped up about 2.5 times around this thing. I feel like that's a pretty good size for most of the trees where I'm hunting. And I'll just push this up here against like that. I will put this around the tree, adjust it if I need to, and then put this around here, get it at the right height, and tighten that in here like that. Get that super tight. Okay, so I got this on here locked like that. I just cammed this over, and now this is ready to rock. This is not moving anyway. I can jump on this. It's solid if you need to. You can go like step on top of here, hook this up with your toe like that, and then push it all the way down, get all the slack out of there, cam it over, and you are ready to rock. All right, everyone, just a little bit on how I kind of run the saddle when I'm in the tree. In general, I take out my tree tether right here and put this around the tree here like this. Around, put your carabiner through that other loop there, and then pull this through. And I normally like to start at about chin height with my tree tether, pretty much right at chin height. Pull that tight, and then I run my carabiner pretty close to the top here, hook right into my bridge right here, and this is pretty much the height I like to run the whole time. It's right close here. I can just sit down on the tree and very comfortable. When I'm standing here, I have a lot of good shooting lanes here. And one thing about this saddle platform is it doesn't move. I'm standing right on the side of it here. I can walk around all the way this way. Just a great saddle platform in general. And I normally, as I was saying, run my carabiner pretty close to the top here of my tether. And I run also, I'll adjust like my height as needed in my bridge a lot. I don't move my tether a whole lot, but actually I really don't move my tether or bridge a whole lot once I get set. I kind of just get it set with how I like it. If I'm getting uncomfortable, I'll just pull up, grab a hand on here, you know, pull my saddle down a little bit, and get back to sitting. Now, most of the time I stand, I'm just comfortable like that. Haven't had any problems, but just overall a good saddle system for if you're on a budget, and I really like it. One other thing, these, I'm just running internal knee pads in my pants. I've had no problems with these. I don't actually sit down a ton while saddle hunting, but sometimes I like to do it. It just gives you a little more comfort. I think one thing I will be getting is probably some external knee pads. I know they're kind of a pain to pack in, but I don't want to be roughing up the outsides of my pants on trees all the time. but for now these have been working. And sitting like this in a saddle, I can sit all day, don't have any problems. It's super comfortable, especially on a tree about this diameter. Now this is probably perfect. I'd say this tree is about 18 inches in diameter. It's just perfect. Now once you get into some skinnier trees, sometimes you do have a few problems, but I don't seem to mind. You have to adjust the height of your tree tether depending on the thickness of a tree. Now I don't know that I would go any larger than this diameter of a tree. This one is very large, but you can still get all the way around here, shoot on this side, and really in some situations you can put your bow over your bridge, come around here and shoot around here. You can pivot around here, shoot all the way back here. That is one benefit of a saddle that I really appreciate, is being able to shoot 360 degrees. And the biggest thing for me is I'll oftentimes run my camera right about here, and I'll be set up so that this is my primary shot over here. I can run the camera right here, hold my bow here, it works perfect. Alright everyone, just wrapping stuff up. In general, I think the XOP gear is all good. Haven't tried any of their stands. I'm sure they're pretty good quality. Their saddle, I really like for a budget option. I haven't done a whole lot of stuff with higher end saddle stuff, but I think that this stuff is very good quality. I haven't really had any problems with it yet. No complaints. So I'm excited to have a lot more sits in this saddle. I think I've probably done about 10 or 15 sits already, and it has just been absolutely great. And one thing with any mobile hunting setup is you got to tweak it to your own preferences. Just because something works for me might not work for you. Now this saddle does only come in one size, which for me it ended up working great. I don't have any hip pinch or anything like that. It's just been really good for my body. Now a lot of other people, I have no idea, but just if you're wanting to get into saddle hunting, just get started, I think this is a great option. And for as far as the platform and sticks go, I think those are as high quality as you could ever want. Now those are still on a budget end, but I don't see myself changing from those for a long time. This saddle, there's a lot of other ones that have a lot more bells and whistles, but for me, I like simplicity. This thing is great. Only thing I have to critique on this saddle, which it's technically not the saddle, and you could easily change it out, is this little pocket here. This thing, I have put a hole in it already, which that's not a super big deal, but it just flaps around on this carabiner. I don't know if there's probably a lot of things you could do to like secure a better pocket on the side of this to hold like your lineman's belt and stuff, but it flops around. I constantly am finding myself holding this bag when I'm walking through the woods. It's not super noisy, but it is pretty noisy, and every time when I'm up in the tree I end up unclipping this thing, hooking it onto something, and it's in the way. I would like it if I could just have a pocket on the side of my saddle. Now, just concluding everything, as I said, this is a great saddle, and if you're looking into getting into saddle hunting, don't want to spend a whole bunch of money, I believe this is your go-to. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please remember to subscribe and comment what you think on saddle hunting, everything like that. Share what your guys' mobile hunting setup is, what works for you, and thanks for watching.